Welcome, everyone, to the podcast. Thank you so much, as always, for joining me. I am very excited to dive into today's topic. And today's topic is a channel download from the Three Guides of the Light. Now, this one came to me just the other day, and it was a lot later at night, so I couldn't just jump on to record. So I wrote it all out. And it was so interesting because the topic they wanted to talk about was the fact that, here's their title, you are the weaver of your destiny. Now, we've heard a lot that you are the weaver of your reality, but you are the weaver of your destiny is really interesting, and you will understand after I read what it is they wanted to share. And I wanted to also say that what's really interesting is leading up to this message from them, there was a lot of insights I was being given from Spirit, whether it was card readings or messages from other people about the concept of the weaver, being the weaver. So then when they brought in this title, I was so curious to hear what they had to say. And this is why I'm really looking forward to sharing this with you, because I think it's something that'll really resonate. And I'm just going to dive in to share this with all of you. All right, so this is what they said. They said, "Do you ever wonder what the fabric of reality looks like from our perspective? We can see in your world in the way in which you do from something akin to a 3D lens. We can see the density of particles and matter forming together to make the objects in your world. However, in our most natural state, we see your world as flowing energy. The fabric of space and time as you see it is like flowing fabrics to us of various colors, moving and undulating with the wind. This is how we can look to your potential future outline and timelines, because we can look farther ahead in the fabrics to see which way they are bending or shifting. However, at any moment, different actions on your part can change the ways in which these fabrics flow. This is why when we bring predictions through, they are always considered the highest probability snapshot at any given time, rather than a finite specific event in a specific time or place. The true essence of reality is it is in constant flow and motion. Just like you continue to breathe in and out in a constant rhythmic pattern that changes depending on your exertion, so too does your reality continue to ebb and flow and change based on your conscious and also subconscious choices. When you truly take the time to embrace this concept, you begin to see how much you are a co-creator of your reality. We speak a lot about this creation because humanity is standing in these new energies where your capacity to co-create is so much greater than you have ever had. When you choose to step up and lead, you are choosing to create new pathways for that fabric. When you choose to step up and lead, the fabrics that represent you become more vibrant in their colors. And when you choose to honor you and your most authentic path, you become like the great weaver of your destiny. You are the weaver of your destiny, because before you came here, you decided to create a particular path to your destiny. But you, as the weaver, get to decide the way in which the fabrics move. You get to decide where the fabrics pull into a pile or where they stretch out at great distances. We will continue to reinforce this message of co-creation to you throughout this year, specifically because there is a high capacity for the energetic receptivity of your weaving. You are the weaver of your destiny. You are also the creator of your destiny. Do not forget that before you came into this lifetime, you sat down with your guides to help create that very destiny. You have had a hand in it all. Different aspects of you have come together to create this life, this very life you are living now. And now the expanded consciousness that is you, the magnificent conscious human being that is you, are creating together to fulfill the desired journey in this lifetime. You see, when you see it from our perspective, you can see why we view your life with absolute awe and beauty. It is a beautiful, magical movement of these fabrics of various colors. We wish for you to bring the beauty back into your life. Bring the sacredness back into your moments. Instead of rushing through the energies of a new day, take time to appreciate those energies in the day. It allows you to be more connected into those fabrics of life to weave the essence in the energy you desire for the day. And I thought that was like, it was such a beautiful way to describe it. And that's the thing with spirit is they so often give so many different types of metaphors to describe the way in which they understand something. So it can be relatable to us. And I thought the fabrics was such a beautiful way to describe that and how the vibrancy of the colors get brighter and brighter and brighter, right? Like we could picture it like light, right? Because they are the three guides of the light and we are light consciousness. And they could talk about these prisms of light. But the fabrics is something so much more tangible because we can all think of that imagery of, summertime and there's fabrics flowing in the wind as they're drying out on drying lines, right? And we can see that and we can see how they move and how they undulate. And, when the sun shines that certain way, the vibrancy that can come from them. And when we realize that it's this massive weaving of these fabrics, it becomes this like tangible thing that we can really wrap our minds around. And I absolutely, absolutely loved it. So then they continued to say another piece. So this is kind of like the next thing, okay, part two, if you will. So they said, now that the astrological alignments are heightening the capacity for you, the spiritual warrior, you will notice a deep desire coming from within you to step into your path in a higher frequency. You will feel called to dive deeper into who you truly are and express that fully. As this solar cycle expands to its peak capacity, you will find the light frequency showering upon you, and it will inspire you to express more of your soul truth. That soul truth we see as light frequency. And when you imbibe these energies, your fabrics become brighter and more vibrant. And so I really like this because this really is a huge new frequency. I know I've talked about it on the videos. I talked about it in last week's podcast, this new energy, new frequency. But here's the thing. With us really embracing our weavings of our destiny on the other side and our weaving of our free will on this side, within the confines of what we can do, right? Because again, it's not that very simplistic idea of, well, you just create anything you want. I mean, in essence, yes. But in reality, we are limited sometimes to time and space, to what our job position is, what our financial income is, right? Like there are very human things. We have to take spirit's insights and information and then also apply it to the human nature that we are, because they are different perspectives. But what I find really neat is when we take a moment and pause from the busyness of the human and we pop into their perspective, it can often give us this kind of overall umbrella theme of how to, maybe renegotiate the life we're living, renegotiate the outlooks that we have moving forward, and then really step into a position of power for ourselves so that we can embrace the direction we're going in the future. And I just think that's so empowering. And so I love that imagery. Again, I love that weaving imagery. And I really truly believe from having my NDE and understanding the blueprint the way in which I do, where I got to see my blueprint, and then I got to rearrange some things in my blueprint for this remaining time that I'm here, for however long that is, I realized how much I am creating my reality here at any given time. And I can choose to take steps that pull me off my path, or I can choose to take steps that align me more with my path. But I want to say too that no matter how we weave, no matter which steps I choose, I'm choosing steps that are going to bring me knowledge and wisdom. So it's not even about, if you find that you kind of fall off path, the moment you realize you've fallen off path, that should be celebrated because you're recognizing what's not aligning. And you've gained so much wisdom from the experiences in that part. Right? So I think there is a huge capacity that we have. We are also living through very, very polarizing, changing times right now on our planet, big change-making times, huge astrological alignments that are causing big shifts in our thought patterns and really kind of shaking down the foundations of how we used to live life. And now we're starting to realize that a bunch of foundations have crumbled and we're rebuilding some. Some are not done crumbling. Like it's a very transitional time that we're in right now. And so that is that time for the spiritual warrior. And part of embracing the energy of the spiritual warrior is recognizing that we do a lot of the weaving. That's where that empowerment comes from. And so then if we think about it, if we really reflect on their message, and then we think about the fact that we're stepping into this like heightened solar cycle point now, right? The solar cycle peak is happening now. That means more light codes, right? This is coming from the three guides of the light. So a solar cycle peak, we're getting more light codes from them, more energetic downloads, more upgrades in our body, all to aid in understanding our capacity as co-creators, as weavers, co-weavers with the spirit world, with the energetics of light and consciousness. No wonder we're being called to dive deeper into who we truly are and also express it. Because authenticity is one of the highest frequencies you can actually carry. So there's a frequency of love, for sure, absolutely. But then there's a frequency of authenticity. And when you are expressing love with authenticity, it is massive. When you are expressing your opinion in your authenticity, that is huge. When you are listening with compassion in your authenticity, again, huge energy frequencies you're putting out. Authenticity, I think, has, like your authentic vibe is almost becoming like a catchphrase or a kitschy kind of sounding thing, but at the same time, it's really true. When you are true to yourself, you feel more peace inside. When you feel more peace inside, you have more capacity for others and compassion for others. When you have more peace inside, you have more space for innovation, for new creations, new ways of doing things or thinking, better capacity to heal mind, body, spirit. That's when we're willing to be authentic. But to be authentic, we have to dive in, right? And many of you have been diving in. Like if you're listening to my content, listening to like-minded content, you are diving in. You have been diving in. And maybe now you're really coming up for air now, ready to express, to use your voice, to share, to allow that personal expansion of your soul self in so many different ways. It doesn't always have to be in the spiritual tone, right? It can have the energetics of spiritual faith, if you want to call it, behind it, but it can be very, tangible 3D things, but you're doing it authentically. When we are weaving from our authentic selves, we are weaving the most intricate, strong, sturdy baskets for life, if you will. So I just think this is such a beautiful, beautiful message. Spirit is saying they are sending in more light consciousness. There is going to be more upgrades on our bodies, in our frequency, which will give us greater capacity in our weaving to create what it is we want. So I think one thing to leave you with then is to recognize whatever is coming up for you that is feeling uncomfortable or triggering, whatever spirit is bringing to you in dream state, anything that catches your eye or your time, look into it. Even if it's kind of a scary one, or if it's really positive. If spirit is like, hey, we need you to, I don't know, sing more or teach a Zumba class. I don't know, right? Look into why. What is that expression doing for you? Right? It might be, say you're wanting to teach a Zumba class and you're like, but I couldn't possibly, but I've always wanted to. It just looks like so much fun. That act of expression might be your key to breaking some serious heart-based barriers that you've had. Who knows? Or maybe it helps you meet a divine partner or person. There's so many ways in which we are breaking free from the old molds right now that really paying attention to what's coming up right now is really going to help us, carve this path through, weave this basket that is us in the most beautiful pattern. So I will leave that with all of you. And I really hope this touched you the same way it did me. I loved the imagery. So I hope this helps you in your day moving forward. And I want to thank you all always for the support. Please do share and subscribe and like this video, or if you're listening to it on the podcast, rate the podcast. I appreciate this so much. So I wish you all a beautiful day, everyone, and I will see you all next week.